Hi there, I am Katie from NLFX Professional, and you are watching All Access. This week we have Jeremy with Chauvet, and he is going to be telling us all about SoundSwitch. So Jeremy,
Thanks for having me.
why don't you tell me a little bit, what exactly is SoundSwitch?
So SoundSwitch is a hardware-software combo that works with ChauvetDJ as a plugin. And basically what it allows you to either play back lighting scenes in an auto program mode, which they call auto loops, or it allows you to actually script the song yourself from scratch and actually, pick up, make the lights go off when the kick drum hits, specify it to your liking. That's basically it.
Okay, so you mentioned Serato. My question is, does it work with virtual DJ as well?
Okay, so it does not right now, but the agreements and everything from SoundSwitch and Virtual DJ as well as Tractor have all been signed, sealed, and delivered. So if it's not done before the end of the year, it'll be done by the end of this year, from what I understand.
So let's say somebody already has SoundSwitch. They purchased the component. Are they going to have to purchase another one when that upgrade comes out, or is it just going to be like a software update?
Yeah, everything's going to be updated with software, so your SoundSwitch hardware is going to work with any of them.
Cool. So my next question is, how long does it actually take to make a song?
All right, so if you script a track, and when I say that, I mean build a lighting show on a track. The very first time I did it took me about an hour and a half. Compared to doing something, say, on Show Express, like an audio timeline on Show Express, where you have to make one program, 2 programs, 20 programs, whatever it is for each song, and then pasting it in the timeline. This is a lot easier. Like doing one song in Show Express is like 4 to 6 hours.
Okay, so you mentioned Show Express. My next question is this work with Show Express? Does it replace Show Express?
Well, it's kind of a different beast. So like Show Express, if I'm doing lighting and I have somebody running my lights, I'm going to take Show Express. If I'm going to DJ an event, say wedding reception or corporate event, I'm going to take SoundSwitch with me, because basically SoundSwitch takes the lighting person out of the equation. So when I'm alone doing a gig, I don't have a separate controller now. I don't have separate software now. SoundSwitch just sits in the background, and I'm using Serato DJ. So all I'm doing is I'm going to my event and I'm DJing, and the lights are working.
So for the guys who have a separate lighting computer, how does that work? Are they going to be able to have a separate lighting computer, or do they have to run it off of the computer that they're running their DJ software?
So with SoundSwitch, that needs to be ran on the same computer as Serato DJ.
Okay.
If somebody did want to use, like, say, Show Express for parts of the gig and SoundSwitch for parts of the gig, they would have to just have an A/B switch, and they could switch between SoundSwitch, the SoundSwitch hardware box, and the Show Express hardware box.
Okay. So does someone need to have a basic understanding of DMX to be able to run this software?
Yeah, but very basic. So you have to know how to DMX address a fixture, how to link them up with DMX from the hardware box. It just has one DMX output.
And that goes to your first light, correct?
That's your first light, exactly. And you just Jay-Z chain the rest. And then you have to learn on SoundSwitch, which I will show you guys, is how to add fixtures into your fixture library and assign DMX channels to them. After you do that, editing software is really kind of like an audio suite, so like Ableton Live or something like that. So most people are a lot more familiar with audio software than they are with lighting software. So this is actually pretty simple to run.
So then, since we're talking about audio software, do you have to attach it to a song, or can you run them individually without playing a certain song. So for example, if you want First Dances and all the moving heads to come in to spot the dance floor, is that possible?
That's where it gets a little bit tricky. So SoundSwitch isn't really meant to do those kind of things. It's more meant to go with the music. So what you can do is you do have the ability to have some hotkeys. So you do have a hotkey that blacks out, a hotkey that strobes, and a hotkey that makes every light white. So yes, you can make them all white. Changing the position on multiple moving heads at the same time is where it gets a little bit tough. In edit mode, you can manipulate any fixtures attribute, but when you're at the gig, you're going to be in performance mode. So
you said it gets tough. Does that mean that you can do it, but it's a lot of work, or you cannot do it?
No, it means you can do it. So if I had, let's say, like 4 in Tim Spot 355 IRCs with me on my gig, and I wanted them all to go to the middle of the dance floor, I can make them all go to the middle of the dance floor in editor mode on SoundSwitch.
But it would have to be, you would have to be editing.
I'd have to manually do it, basically.
Okay.
During the, yeah.
Okay.
Unless I had like a blank track and I just did it before the gig started, like when I was setting up, then I guess I could just play that track and pause it when they're in the center. Okay. It's always more than one way to do things, I guess.
So do you want to show us the software real quick?
No. Yeah.
Of course.
Awesome. So I'm going to share my screen with everybody right now. Boom. Okay. So first things I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up the SoundSwitch software, and it's going to give me 2 different options. It's going to show me the edit option and the performance option. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the edit mode, so which is what you're going to do when you get your software. This out of my way. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this little tool button and go to go to general and display my master track visualizer. Basically what that does, it opens up this little box on the bottom left-hand corner. And since I'm not physically there with lights in front of the camera for you guys, it'll at least show the color changes and when everything hits in intensity.
Okay.
So first things first, my software already has fixtures in it because I've been going around the country showing this off, but there is a little addition button up here. And basically you click that and your fixture libraries come up. So it doesn't matter whatever manufacturer, just search and we'll pick A. And if I want to add a fixture, let's say we'll just go back to those in Tim Spot 355s. You just make sure you find what mode that you use for it.
Okay.
And it's just drag and drop. So you can drag and drop it, or you can hold shift, drag and drop, and that'll let you do multiples at one time. So you don't have to, so I did a multiple. It's going to ask me actually how many I have.
So let's say somebody is searching and they don't see their light pop up. How would they go about adding that?
So basically, all you have to do is email support@soundswitch.com, and they will, within 24 hours, have a fixture built in for you. So everything they do is cloud-based. So once I relaunch my SoundSwitch, my fixture library gets updated. So that new fixture will pop up, not just for me, but for every. So all you really need to do once you email support@soundswitch.com is just give them like a DMX primer, like channel 1 is pan, channel 2 is tilt, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
And the name of the fixture manufacturer and the name of the fixture. And they can do it.
And as I was talking, I noticed you were adding the DMX addresses into the lights.
I was, yep. So as far as like we kind of explained at the beginning is that's about as much as you need to know is how to add a fixture and how to assign it to a channel.
Okay.
And then obviously you do it on your physical fixtures as well. So once you do that and add all the fixtures that you have, then you're kind of set up and you're ready to actually start scripting a song. So what I can do on here is I'll show you one that's already done, and then from there I can show you from like a clean slate, like kind of how we go about it, and I'll show you the auto loops as well.
Okay.
So basically, on the bottom of my screen, you actually have the audio file for this track, and then above that, where it says master track, that really is the master lighting track. So all these white lines are my intensity settings. So obviously if it's at the bottom, it's at 0. At the top, it's at 100%. Under that, I have my color changes. So we see a lot of cyan and magenta in here with some white. Under that, on the next line, which is this line right here, you have some strobes. So that's your strobe line. And then the next line down under that is actually your movement for your moving heads.
Okay.
So moving heads are over here in positions. So basically, I can just name them whatever I want. I just happen to keep some generic names that they had with the software. So basically, like neutral, I can pick my fixture, and this is basically setting my position for my light. So if I'm on a particular side of the room, I can make sure my fixtures go towards the dance floor or the area that I'm trying to actually light.
And that's where your light physically is.
That's where the light's physically going to go. Yeah, the moving head is going to aim, so to speak. So once I fix the positions for the 3 movers or the 3 positions that I want, I'll apply those settings. And now all I do from there is I basically just drag and drop in the software when I want them to go to those specific positions during the song. So you just talked about aiming lighting at the dance floor. I could actually go set some positions and do like a blank track or something like that, and actually set my positions to have, say, my 4 intimidator. That's kind of how you would do that. All right, so to get on with it, I'm gonna go ahead and just hit play. You're gonna, check out the timeline. Check out right here under the new. That's where that little box is gonna be. It's gonna start changing colors. The visualizer.
Okay.
So you see how it's showing on the master track visualizer on the bottom, it's showing the fades and the color changes, exactly where it hits. So basically that visualizer is what your lights are actually doing.
Okay, and that's the master track is all of your lights.
Correct. So whatever lights I have added into the software itself, they're all going to go with the master track. So everything's going to be magenta at the same time. Everything's going to be cyan. The way to get over that, so let's say I want my Intim Spot 255 fixture to do something a little bit different. So let's say basically when Rihanna starts singing, I want this fixture to, let's say, just go white. So what I would do is highlight that area. I'm going to right click the actual line. So you see I have my strobe line, I have my position line, and at the very top, I have my color line. So if I want to, I can just pick a white, close enough to it. And now that fixture basically overrides the master track at that point. So whatever I do in my library, in my fixture library, on the fixtures individually, it overrides the master track. So everything but my 255 now will be doing the cyan magenta changes while my 255 is white.
Okay.
So, and again, if I only do the color, it only overrides the color. So it's still going to be using the movements that I placed down here on the master track, but it's just going to be, which is pretty cool.
So can you change the movements then too?
Yeah, I can change the movements up here as well.
Okay. All right. All right, Jeremy. So let's see how long it takes you to build a song from scratch.
All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is not save the changes I just made to that, first of all. I'll just come to like my awesome music library because I listen to a lot of country and rock. So none of these are scripted in SoundSwitch. All you're going to see is the audio wave file on the bottom.
Okay.
So there's two different ways I can do it. The first way is called auto loops. Auto loops is this A on the bottom right hand side. So you just go ahead and click that, and you see I have 4 different banks. Bank 1 actually has lighting programs in it already that come with software when you download it by measures. So green and pink is 8 measures, color transitions is 16, changes and fades is 8, etc., etc. And then, so if I just pick changes and fades, my songs are now going to fade up, down, and change from whatever this bronze looking color is all the way to magenta, then through to purple. But what you can do, even in auto loops, is you can say, okay, well, I don't really want it to fade to 0 or fade that much. So you can actually go and even manipulate that.
Okay.
Their auto loop. So what auto loops do is they basically do a different kind of auto mode. So it's not like actually putting your light like an auto mode 1 and just letting it run through the night. What auto loops in SoundSwitch do is it'll basically run through this program for 8 measures, then switch to the next one for 8 measures, this one for 8 measures, this one for 16, so on and so forth. While you're playing back in Serato. So any song that's not scripted already with a lighting track will automatically start playing auto loops.
Okay.
You never lose lighting.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So then you have 3 blank banks, 2, 3, and 4, that you can have 8 new lighting auto loops that you can make yourself. So you definitely got some flexibility out of this. And the really cool thing is with auto loops, they do sync up to the beat grids in Serato. So once you put your track in, it analyzes that track and it knows to play exactly what that beat grid. So it knows when it's done, so it changes to the next scene. It knows when 32 measures is done, so it changes to the next scene, et cetera, et cetera. So the other way I can do it, let me go ahead and reload this. The other way I can do it is there's something called automation generator. So if I do the automation generator, and this is something for your eyes only right now, which is cool. It's kind of a preview. This is coming out by the end of the month. So I'm going to go to automation and hit generate. Basically what it's doing right now is analyzing the file of the song, or the audio file. It's seeing what fixtures I have, and it's going to create blue to white color transitions from the kick drum, the snare, the hi-hats, stuff like that. So I'll play you back this Ed Sheeran song as soon as this generator is done running.
So then will this be included in the update?
Yes, correct. This will be included in the update, and from what I hear from the SoundSwitch guys is that the version I have is like they're well beyond what I'm going to show you right now.
Okay.
Cool. So at the beginning of the song, I want a little bit of color at the beginning. I don't want it to be blacked out. So I'm just going to go ahead and just change that one thing real fast, and we'll get on with it. So before I hit play, the most tedious part, finding those kick drums and doing your intensity settings.
Right.
So that took like most of my time. When I told you it took me an hour and a half to do my first track, that was most of my time. Now that I've just taken that out of the equation, I'm talking about maybe 10 minutes for me to go through and really like get the color changes I want, etc. Stuff like that, movements, maybe some strobes. But I'll go ahead and hit play so you guys can see actually how well the generator does by itself. And this is like the very first beta version they ever came out with.
Okay.
I can't sweep you off of your feet.
Is over here in the bottom left.
We're having a hard time hearing the music, Jeremy.
Loving you, 17.
Oh, it does a really good job at picking that stuff up. There might be like a few snare hits I saw in there that it didn't get. If I really want to make it happen, I can make it happen myself now.
So you can go in and change anything you really want once.
Absolutely. So let's say I don't want it blue when it really kicks in. So blue just like to start off the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to go to like, again, you right click. I'll go to like a highlight green or something. So I can manipulate everything on that master track that I want to manipulate.
So one question that I have is, for example, if you have a DJ who has songs programmed in Show Express, can they transfer over, or do you have to redo them in SoundSwitch?
You have to redo everything in SoundSwitch, only because Show Express doesn't run as a background plugin for ChauvetDJ as this does.
Okay.
So, yes, sucks. But again, if you want to run Show Express for some things, SoundSwitch for some things, you just do an A/B switch and you're in business.
Right.
But that's going to take a lot of time out. So, so what I can do now is actually show you in Serato, if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and get out of this. I'm sure you're kind of wondering like how or where does that lighting file save to? It basically just goes on the actual ID for the track. So if somebody is running Serato and they don't have SoundSwitch, it doesn't hurt anything. One other thing you might have been thinking is where does the music come from in SoundSwitch? It comes from my Serato. So whether I make a crate or whether I'm pulling from iTunes, it'll pull from that.
So do you have to upload every song into SoundSwitch, or does it just pull from there and put it back?
No, it pulls from it automatically.
Okay.
Yep. Everything talks to everybody talks to everybody. So now that I have Serato open, I'm going to open up SoundSwitch, and this time instead of going to edit mode, I'm going to go to perform mode, and I'm going to select a venue. So this is kind of important for people that play multiple venues but multiple times. Let's say you gig it every Tuesday at bar A, every Thursday night at venue B. So you can actually save up to 7 venues in here. So all those positions for your movers and your fixtures are already set every time you go there.
That's pretty awesome.
So I'm just gonna pick my default, and I'm gonna turn back on this visual master tracker, display master track visualizer. Yay! So that's just gonna run in the background. Sorry, that's gonna run in the background, and I'm gonna load in. Let me load in a song that's scripted with SoundSwitch first. And again, the visualizer is still going to be down here on the bottom left hand of my screen, so you can see it working.
We have a little bit of a lag with the different programs switching. So, all right, there we go. Now it caught up.
So no matter what I do, if I scratch, the lights move with it. If I rewind or loop, the lights move with it. So kind of think of it as, you know how you used to do it with video, and you'd scratch and the video would pull back or pull forward. It's the same thing. So that's a scripted song. If I go pull in just something from my iTunes. So awesome. Here, let's do that. So now that I'm putting a song in that's not scripted, you're gonna see it already turned blue because it's already pulling from my auto lighting loops.
Okay.
So as I'm playing the song, even in auto loops, it'll let you control the actual lighting program. So even though it's doing an auto loop, it does a really good job with it. It's a heck of a lot better job than the stuff that's already built into our fixtures when it's going with your music.
Right.
So
Jeremy, we have to wrap
sound
it up.
active mode.
Is there any final thoughts or comments that you want to make about SoundSwitch?
I really think it's a game changer for the mobile market. Now, if I'm doing like the band thing, I'm probably not going to be looking at it. But since I'm since I mobile DJ and do lots of events, it's really a no-brainer. All I have to do is take this extra hardware box, plug it up to my lights, and now I just DJ. I don't do anything else. I'm not a lighting guy and a DJ that night. I'm just a DJ. So it's pretty cool to know that I can do that in very limited amount of time. So
it's a grab and go solution.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us, Jeremy.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. This is Katie from NLFX Professional. You are watching All Access, and we will be back with you next week.